Welcome everyone to another episode of Focus TV. We have Octavia Wyatt here with us, Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpe Jr. And let's get to it. This is season 9, episode 11. Octavia, last week we talked about obviously how the two Super Bowl teams got there. Asked Ray and Cardell their thoughts on it a little bit. You are back this week, so it is finally Super Bowl week. We know who's playing. Your take on this, the last game of the year for the NFL season.
Yeah, apologize for my absence last week. Craziest thing, I had a weird allergic reaction. I was swollen shut. I don't think you guys wanted to see that, so apologize for my absence. Thank you guys for holding it down as always. But yeah, we finally reached the final game of the year. I feel like the season always is. It's slow during it, but then right after it's over in a blink of an eye. And then this Sunday coming up, we'll have the Super Bowl, which will be featuring the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots, a rematch from the 2015 Super Bowl that I'm sure everybody has seen so many clips over and over again. I think my favorite clip is not even from the game. Of course, it's Marshawn Lynch because I literally use it every day. I'm just here so I don't get fined. So shout out to Beast Mode. But yeah, so we're just going to go through a little bit of a preview for the upcoming game, some key players, and just some things to look out for. Started on the Seattle Seahawks side. It's very similar for both teams, but both teams' strengths really are their defense. So Seattle's path to a Super Bowl is definitely through their defense. Their defense owns the league's top scoring defense, has the top scoring defense, and they will be looking to pressure that man on the left right there all night long, which is Drake May, who would be in his first Super Bowl in his second season as an NFL quarterback. So you assume, nerves, young, they're really going to try to get after him, which they've pretty much done all year, getting after quarterbacks and force Drake May to make a lot of mistakes. Offensively for Seattle, though, they don't need to do too much. I think as well as Sam Darnold has played this year, he didn't play that great in the middle of the season. We know the kryptonite that was the Rams for them that he got over, and we know his calling card at times has can he win the big games. In this game, and I think people use this term a lot. I hate the term, but I'm going to use it anyway. He just needs to be a game manager. He just needs to make sure he protects the ball because, like I said, both teams have awesome defenses, so they're also going to be looking to strip the ball away from Sam Darnold. They just need to be cool, calm, and collected, and he just needs to have a balanced game, balance of passing and running. Kenneth Walker III has come on as of late, of course, with the absence of Zach Charbonnet. And then we know the man, the myth, the legend of Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had a breakout year. DK Metcalf gone, and I can't think of the other one, but the other one gone too. And he stepped up right in there. The pickup of Raheem Shaheed has also done wonders for them on the offensive side, but also on the special team side as well. So those two guys, of course, will be key. The offensive line will, of course, need to protect Sam Darnold. They'll need to establish a running game with Kenneth Walker III and just let the play action open up in the space. And I mean, like I said, Jackson Smith and Jigba is the most dangerous wide receiver on the field, as well as Cooper Kupp has had a pretty decent year as well after being cast away from Los Angeles. If the Seahawks win the turnover battle, they finish their drives in the red zone and they dominate field position, they literally put the Patriots right where they want them. Those three key things will help them at the end of the game hoist the Lombardi Trophy and win their Super Bowl. And that means they haven't won a Super Bowl since before 2015. I can't think when the Legion of Boom the year before. So some key players in this game, of course, like I noted, Sam Darnold. Of course, this is his first season in Seattle, coming off a 14-win season last year with the Minnesota Vikings. He's hopped around a lot, as we know, from the Jets to the Panthers to the Niners to the Vikings, and now he's ended up in Seattle, and it's looking like it's his best shot, and to be the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody envisioned that happening, but here we are, and Sam Darnold just has to go out there and just play well. He doesn't need to dominate. He doesn't need to do anything too crazy. He just needs to capitalize on the opportunities that are presented, protect the ball, and they have a really good chance of winning. Again, like I said, Jackson Smith-Njigba, ultimate key player for this game. Um, Breakout season, explosive weapon, catches anything, runs past everybody, running the route. Like he's just everywhere. And then of course, like I said, his route running and then his yak after catching the ball is just it's just next to none at this point. So of course, I'm sure they're gonna put a lot of eyes and focus on Jackson Smith-Njigba's, i.e. Christian Gonzalez, and the rest of their backfield. But all eyes been on Jackson Smith-Njigba all year, and it ain't seemed to slow him down. So I'm excited to see what he does in this. Again, talking about Kenneth Walker III, he has to carry the load. You know, it was running back by committee for a majority of the year. Their running game wasn't really that great all year. It picked up towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. But he's been doing well. I don't know if it's a mental thing where knowing that you're the guy, that it kind of turns it up a little bit for you. But I mean, granted, Zach Charbonnet hasn't been out that long, but that's a key factor in it. You know, just knowing that you're the guy, you're the one that they're going to lean on. I'm looking to see if he's going to be able to live up to the bill in this situation. And then on the defensive side, I think one of their key players, of course, is Devin Witherspoon, a defensive back. He's definitely a tone setter for their defense. Defense is crazy when it comes to them. I know a lot of people always talk about the Legion of Boom. I'm not there yet just because I like to see consistency. So I would like to see it again next year to see how that goes. But he's very aggressive. He has great instincts in coverage and run support. So he's definitely a game changer. He's going to be one to look out for. And then I think one player that I'm looking forward to seeing just to see how they are in a Super Bowl is DeMarcus Lawrence. I know he's been a top player over his career. He just hasn't had opportunities to get to the big game. And we know he talks a lot. So I'm very interested to see if he's going to be able to walk the walk. I saw an interesting post. I think it was Des Bryant earlier this year. Him and apparently DeMarcus Lawrence had a text thread. He posted it that DeMarcus Lawrence told him before the season started that he was going to the Super Bowl. And that has reigned true for him so far. So now only thing left to do is cap it off and actually win it. So those are just some things for the Seattle Seahawks. Now for the New England Patriots, like I said, it's kind of similar. Their defense is going to be at the forefront. While this might be a defensive focused game, I don't expect it to be a completely like low scoring game. I would think I was gonna say early 20s, but low 20s, high teens, maybe a little bit more, because the defense is really going to be that great. So it's really going to be a race to maybe 24 to possibly win the game. But again, like I said, their defense is definitely going to be key in this. They're going to have to control the line of scrimmage and definitely tighten up in the red zone. I think that was probably one of their Achilles heels in the season. And to be fair, their offense hasn't seen a defense, in my opinion, like the Seattle Seahawks pretty much all year. We can talk about schedules as I talk about sometimes, and you try not to weigh on it just because, again, you got to play the teams that are in front of you. But I don't think they've seen, even in their playoff run, I don't think they've seen a team with the lights of the defense of the Seattle Seahawks that they're going to have. So that's definitely going to be forefront of what they're going to be doing. Of course, on the offensive side, the spotlight is on Drake May, second-year quarterback. Basically a rookie. I know it's the second year, but they were 4-13 the year before. To go from 4-13 to the Super Bowl is crazy, but nonetheless, here we are. His mobility, we saw, him closing out games in the playoffs, getting the final first down to seal the deal. His mobility, he has good decision makings, and he does have the ability to avoid turnovers. Those are going to be super, super key for him and their offense in this game. If he protects the ball, they can sustain drives, and they can let their own defense dictate the pace. They have a really, really good job, a really good chance. They're a very disciplined team. They make low mistakes, i.e. their coach is Mike Vrabel, so I don't think he accepts mistakes. So you can see that permeating through how the team plays. And if they do that, they might start a new dynasty. I'm not there yet. I don't believe that. Again, I think that they did have a weaker schedule this year. But again, you play with the chips that are in front of you, and they really have a good chance to win. Some key players in this, of course, Drake May, quarterback, centerpiece of the entire turnaround. Like I said, they went from 4-13 to the Super Bowl, and one of the youngest quarterbacks to ever start a Super Bowl. So I don't try to lean too heavily on age and um, tenure and all of those things, but they do play factors in it. Will he be ready? Will he be nervous? It's a big stage. Um, I mean, of course, he's played in big games before, but there's no game bigger than the Super Bowl. Um, Stephon Diggs. I have a love-hate relationship with him. I'm proud and happy for him to make it to a Super Bowl because he has been through a lot in his career as far as Buffalo and Minnesota and everything that he's gone through. Even coming back this season, a lot of people thought he was going to be not as good as he was this season after coming off of an injury from the previous year, and he proved a lot of people wrong. He's been very sure-handed for the New England Patriots this year, and he's going to have a lot of eyes on him as well and have a lot of attention on him as well. And he's definitely going to have to step up. I don't have doubt that he will. But again, Super Bowls, you really don't know, especially when a player has never been in one before. And I'm sure that's all they've ever dreamed of is to get to the Super Bowl. So hopefully, he plays well, and because they're really going to need him. Their running back, Ramondre Stevenson, as well as TreVeyon Henderson, they both will have to play well. They do have a running back by committee. TreVeyon Henderson had a breakout year as well as a rookie, spelling Ramondre Stevenson during his injury during the year. But Ramondre, tough physical presence, running the ball. He's going to have to also help control the tempo of the game, mixing it up between the passing and the running. And he's going to have to be able to gain tough yards, which he has shown that he's able to do. Because, again, like I said, the defense for the Seattle Seahawks is definitely going to make it tough. So he's definitely going to have to do that to be able to keep the Seattle Seahawks defense honest. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, shutdown defender. As we all know, he's top 4, top 5, whatever you want to call it. There's so many names in the mix as of now, and the best lockdown corner in the league. His name is always in the mix, and now he has the opportunity to prove it on the big stage. Like I said, I would be surprised if he's not shadowing Jackson Smith-Njigba for the entire game, because Jackson Smith-Njigba, that's just the end of the sentence, period. So he's going to be expected to see a lot of their top receivers, and he's definitely going to be critical in making sure that they can limit explosive plays, because we know how quickly the ball gets to Jackson Smith-Njigba and how quickly he turns that in. Like I said previously, that yak, yards after catch, he catches a screen and he can be gone in 2.5 seconds, and probably less than that. I'm just throwing a random number out there. So it's definitely going to be key for them. So just some key, again, matchups to watching the game, the Patriots passing game versus, again, the Seahawks secondary, and then the Seahawks balance versus the Patriots discipline, and then the turnover battle. Both teams definitely thrive off of turnovers, and one huge mistake from either one of these quarterbacks who, to be fair, do not have a lot of experience in the big limelight. Drake May being young, and then Sam Darnold being in big games, but not always winning big games until this year. That's really what's going to come down. Who is going to make the critical mistake that the other team is going to capitalize off? So it's going to be a very interesting game. I like the teams that are in, and I think they're going to give us a good Super Bowl, at least fingers crossed that we get a good Super Bowl. Because we know last year the Super Bowl was a blowout, but I digress. But yeah, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. And we'll be back next week to see who wins.
All right. Ray, the association and the Washington Wizards, what you got for us this week?
Yeah, they've actually been on a tiny little upswing. Coming into tonight, they had won 3 of their last 4 games. Right now, have some difficulties against the Knicks. They're down 72-45 at halftime. I mean, basically the Wizards can't throw a rock in the ocean and the Knicks can't miss. So, that's that's how that game is going so far. But they did have a pretty good win the other night against Sacramento. We saw their reserves play a huge role in that win. They had a couple guys called up from the G League, and Sky Libasiri. Sorry if I butchered his last name. And Sharif Cooper and Will Riley actually had a career night, 18 points on 6-15 from the field, 4 for 8 from 3, 6 rebounds and 6 assists. AJ Johnson as well, another one of their younger players. That was his best game of the season, 17 points, 4 assists. I did have a little trouble holding on to the ball, had 7 turnovers, but it wasn't to the point where it cost them the victory. Yeah, it was good to see the young guys close a game like that. We talked about it on Outlook, where they had, they had DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine on the other end trying to, win the game and put the final nails in the coffin, but the Wizards held them off, and that's pretty much all you could ask. That was a game where they were defensively sound for most of it, and if you've heard us talk about this team, when they're competent on that end, then it usually leads to some level of success. Their consistency or lack thereof in that area is why their season's unfolding the way it is. And also why they're in the dilemma they're in tonight. But hopefully they can turn this thing around in the second half. This is a tall hill to climb, seeing that there's down by almost 30 points. But we'll check in later on Outlook to see what the outcome is.
Yeah, it does not look good right now at the half at all. Cardo just tweeted halftime stats as the normal halftime tweet from us as always whenever we're at the game. The Knicks are shooting 54-50 from the floor. It's usually a nice telltale sign that you're in trouble when the opposing team is shooting 50-50. So like Ray said, Wizards Outlook folks, should you brave the second half, we will check on y'all later this evening. We'll see if they can mount a rally and make things interesting. But that's a rough first half. There was one. I'm looking through some of the tweets now. Cardo was like, there's a 47-second stretch with the Knicks went on a 9-0 run in 47 seconds. So that's the type of game the Wizards are having. We saw what happened against the Lakers, and I'm gonna keep bringing it up because it's just disgusting. When I think about what the Lakers shot, which was 61% from the floor. But the Knicks aren't quite there. That 54-50 doesn't exactly sound too much worse. All right, on to college basketball side of things. Maryland women's basketball. Talked to you guys last week about what they had going on, and they were returning from a road game to host 2 games this past week. They hosted 25th ranked Washington first last week. I believe that was on Wednesday. That game was wild. It took 2 overtimes, but the Huskies ended up holding off the Terrapins 83-80. They tied the game with a 3 with 59 seconds left in regulation to force the first overtime. But just like in regulation, Maryland held the lead late at the end of the first overtime, but couldn't close the deal. And the team ended up playing a second period of free basketball. The Huskies got a huge game from Salvia Sellers. She had 38 points. Washington hit 10 threes in the win. Yarden Garzon led Maryland with 24 points. Next, Maryland lost a close one to Oregon, 68-61. Once again, the Terps got a small lead and just couldn't hold on to it. This one was a little bit different where this game was close for the most part. There were like 7 lead changes, but Maryland had a lead going in to the fourth, and Oregon dominated the fourth quarter 24-11 to take control of the game and then eventually win it. Lucia Econowa led Maryland with 27 points, 5 rebounds. Addie Mack added 17 points. Maryland did a good enough job on Oregon's leading scores, limiting them both underneath their averages. But at this, stepped up for the Ducks, 26 points and 11 rebounds to help lead their team to the win. Maryland is now 17-6 on the year. Obviously, 17-6 doesn't sound horrible. However, all 6 losses have come in conference play. In the Big Ten, Maryland's 5-6, which means you're in the middle of the pack in the Big Ten. And the way you close this home stretch, the regular season is going to be very important. Obviously, you'll still have the Big Ten tournament, but it's better to go into the tournament being in the upper half of the conference. It's a little bit more comfort going into the tournament, knowing that you're not required to win it to make sure you're in the postseason, right? They'll hit the road next to face Michigan State on February 4th. All right, so with take it or leave it a rapid fire, we're going to try to do something a little bit better where we're not going to be as all over the place from sport to sport this week. We're gonna kind of keep it NBA since we're in the midst of the NBA trade deadline and too much news is happening. Too many people are moving. So give you guys a second just to wrap your brains around NBA trade deadline only. Not gonna throw any NFL curveballs in here or anything like that. Let me get this up real quick for rapid fire, and we're gonna get into this. We'll start with. Oh, let me put this up on the screen. After this pass, we're going to start with the Utah Jazz. Mr. Ainge always has all these picks. Sometimes he does stuff with them, sometimes he doesn't. And year after year, we always hear about the fact that they have them and they had assets and they could use them. This year, he decided to use them. The Jazz acquired rather star forward Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizzlies as part of an 8-player trade. Memphis received 3 first-round draft picks along with rookie guard Walter Clayton Jr. and forwards Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, and Georges Niang. The Jazz will also acquire center Jock Landale and guards John Conchar and Vince Williams in the deal, which was completed 2 days before Thursday's trade deadline, aka earlier today. The picks that Utah sent to Memphis include the Lakers 2027 pick, the most favorable of the other first rounders the Jazz own in 2027. Uh, Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota, and then the Phoenix 2031 first round pick. So, Ray, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the Jazz, who like apparently looks like they were just out here doing the thing where you just wait for like a really good pick because you know that's what some teams choose to do. Were you anticipating them making this much noise heading into the trade deadline? As some folks talk about, they're not done. Obviously, we'll see. Got 48 hours until the trade deadline. But your thoughts on this move? As soon as you heard about all of it and all the moving pieces.
You're talking about they're not done. I mean, I'm waiting for them to start. Like this was a weird trade to me. But to each his own. I always say, hope it works out for you. Yeah, this I don't know what they're planning to do. Hopefully there's something else coming behind this. And no disrespect to Jaren Jackson, but this was a lot, and I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, definitely interested to see what else that front office has in store for us.
Not no disrespect, but that was a lot, sir. There's no like going back on that statement at all. Just want to throw that out there for you. But I'd say that your thoughts on this trade.
Yeah, I'm on the same lines as Ray. Like, this was not on my bingo card at all. I was not expecting this much. It's like you said, movement and being in the midst of everything. The Utah Jazz. For the last couple of years, I feel like people have gone to the Utah Jazz to die. Like careers have died in Utah. People were fighting to get out, but I mean, of course, they are NBA franchise, so of course they're always trying to look to get better. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it all rounds out, especially if, like they say, they're not done. I think I'm more so on the other side of. I mean, granted, like you said, it was an 8-player trade, which I don't know how many times we have that. Like that was a lot. But I'm interested just because, like, I'll be honest, like I haven't followed the Jazz and the Grizzlies that much. I don't know anybody who has, unless you live in Memphis and you live in Utah. Um, I mean, I think the bigger thing was a lot of people were expecting, and granted, like you said, we're still early on into the free agency period, but I think a lot of people were expecting the names to move from Memphis to be Ja Morant. Not saying again that that can't still happen in some way, shape, or form. But I think that's what surprised me the most, that I didn't even know that that was on the radar of getting rid of Jaren Jackson Jr. Um, as I mean, I'm not saying he's had the best career as he's been there in Memphis, but I feel like he's been steady for them. He's usually healthy-ish. I know he's had some health issues and some injuries, but yeah. So I was literally like, it felt like it was out of left field for me. It might just be because, like I said, I haven't paid that much attention to them, but they're making us pay attention now with an 8-team trade. So I guess we will see how that rounds out.
Yeah. How about that? Time flies, right? Remember when Memphis was loud and obnoxious and ready to
Next.
take over the West and all the fun stuff they were doing? Everybody's on the verge of being out of there. I'm anxious to see if John Morant survives these last 48 hours as we get to this trade deadline. Because if again, right, I'm still trying to figure out if somebody got like gave up 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson Jr. again. I'm not going to throw your disclaimer in there, which doesn't, that quantifier that doesn't really mean much. Uh, just going to let that be as like be what it is. Yeah, I don't get that. I understand moving him. Obviously, I can't believe if somebody gave you 3 first rounds, can I be mad at you for that? Like, can I Memphis? Can I tell you did something wrong? If somebody was like, "Hey, I give you 3 1s and a bunch of players," I can't really get mad at you since you're clearly hitting the button. Like things have gone so left for Memphis. Dylan Brooks has left and has rounded out his entire game. Like Dylan Brooks is like on a whole different level of a be like a legit guy in the league right now. And who would have thought that when he was, kind of the 3D guy or whatever in Memphis, the dirty work guy. Uh, let's start something guy in Memphis, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is gone. Dylan Brooks is about to be the guy out of all of that in the most solid place. Desmond Bane's out of there. Like the whole group is about to be gone. But yeah, I'm anxious to see what happens with Morant. But yeah, I was surprised by this deal, so I'm with y'all on this. The next one is interesting. So here we go. Y'all's favorite, you know who on the Warriors, the Golden State Warriors allegedly have involved Draymond Green in active trade conversations in advance of Thursday's deadline, lead sources told ESPN, putting his 14th season run with the franchise in jeopardy. General manager Mike Dunleavy and controlling owner Joe Lacob have maintained a motivation to get a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo across the finish line, and as part of that, Green's name has been involved in the framework of available offers to the Bucks. League sources said to ESPN. To make the salaries match, the Warriors have to put either Jimmy Butler, who's injured, who's making 56.8 next season, or Draymond Green, who's making 27.6 million next season in the deal. Green has a smaller and easier to redirect contract, and he is currently healthy and able to contribute to a contender. Uh, Green had this to say: "I've been here for 14 years." He was asked about this Friday night. "I have no reason to sit and worry about leaving, but if I'm traded, that's part of the business. I ain't losing no sleep though. I slept great last night." Thoughts on the Warriors potentially adding Dre to trade talks as they try to make their bid slash pitch for Giannis to the Bay, Octavia.
I mean, I kind of chuckled when you said he's healthy and able to contribute to okay, old man Draymond. But I'm just playing. He does, of course, have some upside to him. But I think we've been talking about this for I don't know how many years now that the button should have been pushed. And I guess they're pushing it now. It's kind of crazy that you're doing it now when Jimmy Butler is out. But hey, I mean, maybe we should send an email to their GM and ask them what their thoughts are. You know, what's the plan? Maybe he'll tell us the plan. But I mean, what else do they have? I mean, outside of I know Kaminga had asked to be traded, but Jimmy Butler went down, and you just said he's making $56 million. What's so funny to me about that is before this show, I was looking up some things and I looked at how much Jaylen Brown is making this year. He's making 53 this year. So you mean to tell me Jimmy Butler is making more than Jaylen Brown this year? That's a little crazy, but I digress. I don't deal with rich people money because I don't have any. I mean, I don't know what else they got to sweeten the deal but Draymond. So good luck. Like, that's the most I got for them. I'll be also interested. This is like free agency deadlines are always my favorite time of the year in football and in basketball because the craziest things happen, so you don't know. I think it's a load of crap. Him saying I slept well last night. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You don't want to leave. We know you don't want to leave. That was part of the reason why other people were ushered out and you were still there. So you don't want to leave. And I mean, his whole family is there. I know he has a pregnant wife currently. Like, you don't want to leave. So, but again, like he said, it is part of the business. And if he gets traded, he gets traded. He won't be the first and he won't be the last person that has been somewhere for a long time and got traded. Maybe him and Clay can bond over it and everybody else that got out of there. But I think we're at that point that, for lack of a better term, the core has to be separated. And that is leaving out Steph. Like, Steph's not going anywhere. So what else do you have to bargain with? So that will be interesting.
Ray, your thoughts on before you go, Ray, I'm sorry. Let me add this into the mix. In terms of Golden State's additional assets in the within the trade, because this is the thing, technically how some folks are wording it. Draymond would be kind of like one of the sweeteners. Like, this is what they're already offering. If you take Draymond out of it because of he's being in there, he potentially put in there to help match the money what they're allegedly offering, reportedly offering, that is a pick heavy package, four unprotected first, 2026, 2028, 2030, 2032, Jonathan Kaminga, Brandon Podziemski, and then Dre. It would be or Jimmy Butler, but I don't see how Milwaukee takes Jimmy Butler, who's making more than Jaylen Brown, when Jimmy Butler can't walk right now. So,
Dang, I missed that part. That's a lot. Jeez.
just but go ahead, Ray. I just want to give you guys some additional information.
I mean, the fact that Draymond is still there to be traded is an indictment on their front office. Should have been gone, but that's neither here nor there. But I thought we were beyond the days of mortgaging your future like this. But obviously we're not. So again, if they do that, more power to them. The only, and then it just puts your whole franchise in a bind because the only acceptable outcome is multiple championships, and the likelihood of that happening is not high. So I just don't see the point. But these are now my decisions to make. I don't make the news, I report it. So if this goes through, then yeah, we'll see.
It should be a wild 48 hours. So, like, keep in mind, Giannis is 31 right now. Steph's 37. So, like you said, to your point, if you would do something like this for multiple championships, what's going to be around them is my question. Because, like, there hasn't been enough around Steph. Like, if there was enough around Steph, are you even in this place doing this right now with your four picks
You're
that you're
missing the
ready to
other
throw
part
in?
too.
I'm sorry.
And isn't Giannis hurt too?
I mean, Giannis on
The
soon
hurt.
as my soon as my soon as
Oh,
the
I feel
trade goes
so
through,
much better.
I can walk to the PJ with no issues. But yeah, like yeah, I don't know, man. I'm anxious to see what happens because clearly, like, I know Ray, you, Cardone, and I've talked before the year, when the year started, midway through the year, like this Giannis thing could have been avoided and took care of before this season started. If you're Milwaukee, like we all knew where y'all was going. Also, like he gave y'all a championship. When he ready to go, just move. Like what we doing? That championship is going to stand for a very long time. Sorry, Milwaukee. I'm not saying that y'all are incapable of building another championship team, but that championship is going to stand for a very, 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 very long time. So yeah, man, if he's ready to be out, man, like again, and Ray, like you said, with folks mortgaging their future, and on the same hand, like what's up with teams after winning a championship failing to continue to put stuff around guys? So they won a championship, what, like within the last 5 years? Giannis is on the other side of 30 now. What are y'all doing? He won a championship looking at 30. Like 30 was down the road a little bit. What are y'all doing? All right, we got another, again, sticking with NBA trade deadline stuff. Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit have agreed to a multi-team deal that sends Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley to the Bulls, and then former Maryland Terror pick Kevin Horter, and then Dario Saric to the Pistons. For Shams Charania, the Pistons also received a 2026 first-round protected swap from Minnesota in the deal. With the deal, the Bulls and Pistons fulfill desires with a sharpshooter going to Detroit and young and veteran guards heading to Chicago, which we'll get into that a little bit later too. Like Chicago has a logjam at guard right now, so it seems like Chicago made this deal, you know, so they have the folks in place for when they move. The two guards are allegedly trying to move off their roster right now, possibly in Kobe White and Ayo Desama, by bringing in Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley. Uh, Minnesota did not receive a player, but what they did receive, y'all know how we've been talking about that apron. This is what Minnesota got out of this deal. They're now under the first apron and dropped their luxury tax bill from 24 million to 3.8. Yeah, that's worth the move. 24 million to 3.8. According to ESPN's Bobby Marks, those savings could be critical this week as Minnesota wants to use some of that newfound money. They're willing to go back into the apron if they can land the Giannis, said Minnesota. Um, as they're trying to get into that whole thing before Thursday's 3 p.m. deadline. So, yeah, I tell you, we're going to get to that. I had it that broke soon as the show started. Trust me, I got you. We will not get out of here. We will not let that man uh, get off the stand without addressing this. So, Ray, your thoughts on this? It's not like a star-studded deal, but
Mhm.
again, these types of deals happen. The trade deadline soon, and we do our part here to make sure we report and discuss all of them, not just the loud trades.
Um, I kind of think I like this for everybody involved. Uh, teams got pieces that they could use, and Minnesota cleared up some money, which in the state that we're in, CBA wise with the NBA, that means a lot. You mentioned the Bulls kind of crowded backcourt. That just kind of gives them some flexibility and decisions to make, and you know, Jaden Ivey's pretty good at basketball. So yeah, man. And the Pistons, the position they're in, they just added some shooting and some other things that they can use. They look like they're in contender mode. So so yeah, not mad at them for just kind of shoring up their roster and add some depth. So yeah, man. This is one of those rare situations where I think everybody kind of evened out.
I'd say that you share those sentiments.
I do. Just like you're talking about that there was kind of a logjam in Chicago. I mean, it's kind of similar in Detroit. They got a lot of strong guards out there too. And Jaden, as well as he plays, he's behind the likes of, Asar. I don't know if it's Asar or Amin or whatever, one of them twins. And he definitely has the capabilities and has the skills to be a starter, especially coming off of an injury and playing as well as he's played. So in his, I don't want to call it limited role, but limited role to a certain degree. So yeah, I agree with her. I think it kind of fits around for everybody. It's also, like you said, Wilson, not one of the splashier trades. It's teams. I mean, it's teams that are kind of under the radar outside of the Pistons, of course, who are number one in the East. But yeah, and like you said, it's kind of like they're in win now mode. Knowing the opportunities that are out there in the East, them being on top, the way Kate Cunningham is playing, they're in a situation where they got to maximize the opportunity that they have in front of them. So, like you said, getting some shooters in there with Herder and Sarek, and then honestly, it's kind of hard for some people to kind of understand, but letting a player go and letting a player that is good go, but letting them go to further their own career. Like Jaden probably, he's a kid, he probably likes playing with his friends, his teammates, been there, all that stuff. But realizing that he can go somewhere and really contribute is going to be good for him. So I think, like you said, I think it's kind of a win-win all the way around for all the teams involved.
Yeah, I'm there. Everybody got something out of this, and the crazy part is Minnesota might have got the most. That's a hell of a cut when that deal. Like that apron life is crazy in the league. You didn't get a pick, a person, player, cash considerations. You got savings, and you felt like you won. So shout out to Minnesota for that. All right, up next, another just solid bought. I don't know what's up with the Celtics being allowed to do whatever they want to do with nobody making any noise about it in the league. But this offended me deeply when I saw it. And then when I read it again, it offended me more. The Boston Celtics acquired Nikola Vucevic in a trade with the Chicago Bulls, adding some much needed help to their front court. Boston would trade Anthony Simons in the second round draft pick to Chicago. Boston's currently third in the East, tied with the Knicks at 31-18, with Tatum being out for the year. And we know what they lost. Like, you saw what Horford was for them. They lost all their centers, right? And the Bulls are like, hey, we know a guy who can play with his back to the basket and shoot threes. And unlike some of these youngsters in the league, he's physically mature because he's a grown man. You guys interested? All it's going to cost you is the guy you traded, you got in the Drew Holiday deal. That's it? Maybe a second. Okay, thanks. Give us a starting center. So yeah, Octavia, we'll start with you and then Ray on Boston. Doing more Boston things in a year when they're missing their best player and they're 31-18.
Oh, I love it so much. I love this deal. I loved it because, like everything you just said about Vucevic, and being the prototypical big that they like. We know how many shots, how many threes that Joe Mazzulla wants them to get up, and granted they're not position for position with trading the players. They probably gonna put up about the same amount of threes and shots as each other. I say this as a previous Blazer fan. I love Anthony Simons. I think he's a great player. Even watching their games this year, he was coming off the bench. I actually thought he should have started. I really thought that Peyton Pritchard does well as a six-man, winning six-man of the year last year. I thought it would be kind of interesting to see, knowing that Anthony Simons has started for a majority of his career, him starting and Pritchard staying in his natural position coming off. But Joe Mazzulla knows more basketball than I do, and he gets paid to do it. So I get that, but this was exactly what they needed. Like you said, they were still staying afloat with, and I think Neemias Queta is playing really, really well. But they do need some depth because they're with the likes of Jordan Walsh and I think it's Jonathan Mignon and Luke Garza. They have a lot of young players that, to be fair, they have been holding their own for the majority of the year, which is why they have the record of the 31-8. And then, of course, Jaylen Brown playing top tier basketball, all-star starter. This is a big move for them. I think that it also shows in some confidence in some of the wings that they have, and then the people coming off the bench with losing Anthony Simons, because if you watch their games, a lot of times he does come in as a great six man, and he makes an immediate impact when he gets in the game. His shot is real, very, very quick. He's quick off the dribble, and he will do a step back three in your face in 2.5 seconds. So it shows that they have confidence in the people that are behind him, that they still feel like that they won't have a drop off in that, and then they get a major upgrade with a 2-time All-Star Nikola Vucevic. So I think it's a great pickup for the Celtics. I mean, I forgot that fast. Anthony's going to the Bulls, right? It was just a swap.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, they're getting rid of guards and adding guards, but hey, I don't know. But as a fan of the Boston Celtics, I loved it.
So what are your thoughts on Vooch, the older Vooch, that is not the one in Washington, going into the Celtics?
Yeah, no, that was crazy, man. This was supposed to be going into the season. It was going to be a down year for the Celtics, given everything that happened with them personnel wise. But not only have they held served, they've exceeded expectations, and now they got a key piece to possibly winning the title. Like you mentioned the guys that were kind of holding things down, guards, Jordan Walsh, and all those fellas. They now don't have to play above their means anymore. Like, why are you helping the Celtics in this situation? I just don't understand. Like, now you're going to allow them to steal a year, and then next year they're going to get Tatum back. Good luck.
Again, I'm deeply offended by this because I do like Vooch, and I'm just trying to figure out how you. Other people are like in the crazy people sweepstakes for Giannis, and they're just like, yeah, we'll take him for a buddy in a second. Bulls. So that's Mike Conley, Jaden Ivey, Anthony Simons coming in. So I would expect in the next 40 hours that Desamu and or Kobe White are on the way out, and we'll just see where they land, because that's 5 veteran guards, not vets, but that's 5 guards. There's not enough room to play them. So real quick, this is what the Celtics, the 3-point happy Celtics are getting. To me, Vooch is like in the middle of, they had that chasm when you had Porzingis and you had Horford, and the good and the bad that they both brought, or like the differences between them. Vooch is like right in the middle. Bigger than Horford, not as tall as Porzingis. He's not as slight as Porzingis, but he's heavier than Horford. Can play with his back to the basket, shoots a 3 ball. You guys want to know what he's averaging this year? Like this, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3.8 assists. He's shooting 50%, 50.5 from the floor, and he shoots 37.5 from 3. One would venture to guess that maybe the 3-point opportunities look different in Boston than they do in Chicago. So for a shooter of his caliber, maybe that number goes up. Also, as a big, he shoots 83 from the free throw line. But hey, whatever. Shout out to
when the Celtics are good. No,
I mean that's cool, but what are you doing? You're not supposed to This is one of those things that tips the scale somewhere that nobody cares about, but people should care. There should be more noise about this. Like you guys said, Boston's over there with Titus, doing a hell of a job as the lone actual real big over there. And then they're just like, hey man, we appreciate everything you did. You're gonna use up your role a little bit. Come on.
Let Jason this year. Ooh, second.
Look, man,
He got it.
good job, guys. Great job. All right, I got this one for you guys. This
Okay.
is not a trade deadline, but it's NBA ish. The ever changing All Star game format has changed once again. The setup will involve 4 12-minute games. The three teams will each have a minimum of 8 players. 3 teams, 8 players. Two of the 3 teams comprised of U.S. players. One team comprised of world players. You guys with me so far? Cool. You got 3 teams, 8 players apiece. Round robin tournament. Team A will play Team B in game one. The winning team from game one will take on Team C in game two, followed by the losing team of game one meeting Team C in game three. After game three, the top 2 teams by record will advance to face each other in the championship game, which is game four. If all 3 teams have a 1-1 record after game three, the tiebreaker will be decided by the point differential in each team's 2 round robin games.
Too much.
Hey, this was too good for me to pass up. So, what I put up on the screen is the 3 teams. All right, we got USA team has stars and stripes, and the world just it's the world. USA stars: Scotty Barnes, Devin Booker, Kate Cunningham, Jalen Duran, Anthony Edwards, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Johnson, and Tyrese Maxey. USA stripes: Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, and Norman Powell. Team world: Giannis, should he play? Danny Avdia, Luka Doncic, SGA, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Pascal Siakam, Carl Anthony Towns, and Wemby.
From Pennsylvania.
Um,
I don't care if he's Dominican. He's from Pennsylvania.
He said, "I'm not going to say that actually. Look, we're here, and Ray, we'll start with you. Just your thoughts on the new order of things because it feels like every year they just keep making tweaks to this thing instead of being like, yo, y'all just show up and play hard and give us a good show. We're doing everything, but that we're still in the process of we're taking suggestions out the suggestion box. But thoughts on how this is being divided up and your overall excitement, if any, for All Star Sunday?
Yeah, this is foolishness. Like you said, how about we just play a regular game and be competitive? Why is that so difficult? I don't know who asked for this. I didn't. I'm probably gonna watch just because, but I have no type of anticipation or excitement around this. Like it's honestly sad, man. Like when we were coming up, All-Star Weekend was everything, and now we got whatever this is. I don't know how we reverse course, but yeah, this ain't it. They need to figure it out. But again, like you said, there's nothing to figure out. Just act like you want to be there. But maybe it'll change after some people exit stage left. So yeah, hopefully it does change. I would like to care about All-Star Weekend again.
Good luck on that, sir. I wish you the best on that endeavor. Octavia.
It's too much. It's too much. It's too everything you just named of how it's supposed to go, I forgot already. Like I don't know who's gonna play what, point different, what everybody want what. And then even looking at this graphic, it started at 5:00 on a Sunday. All-Star, am I tripping? Has All-Star game always been at like 5:00 on a Sunday? Like it's not like prime time on a Sunday night, but it's 5:00 because they got to play 15 different games on a Sunday. Like to me, this is more of Saturday night, even though we know how bad Saturday night is too. It's just too much. And like Ray said, I'm gonna watch probably because we're gonna have to talk about it the following Tuesday, so I'm gonna want to know what to say. But yeah, I have no interest in this. This it's getting to it's getting to what's on TV right now on this Tuesday, which is the Pro Bowl games. It's getting to that. Nobody's watching that either. So, like, please next week do not ask me about the Pro Bowl games because I know nothing. This is equivalent to Joe Flacco is in the Pro Bowl games. Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. The only reason I'm gonna be watching is see if the world team's gonna try to really come out and just pull out a belt. I'm just here for violence. That's all that's all I want.
If they do,
Um,
Carl Anthony Towns better not claim it.
that's
Not
also
part of the world, sir.
that's also an interesting subplot, which is also hilarious, where he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go over there." That's a great decision. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
I see
granted,
you.
looking at the names on there, I guess there is nobody else that you could technically put over there to make it even. But, bruh, you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You're from. I'm sorry, I don't even think he's from Pennsylvania. I think he's from Delaware or something. I don't know, somewhere in that area. But, bruh, because you're Dominican.
He's on Team World. Okay, he's one of the several bigs on Team World.
Okay.
Yeah. I, I think it's hilarious. I just want to get back to the All Star game being three quarters or whatever, and one quarter of kill each other. That's all I ask. I'm cool with three quarters of take all the half court shots you want for three quarters in the fourth, which is when I tune in because when y'all get serious, that's when I'll turn it on. But y'all have made it to where there's no reason to do that. Uh, who the hell built the two USA teams?
Yeah,
What
because
are these?
the first one, y'all could just go ahead and hang that one up. Like that one. Not saying that, of course, they're all stars, but I'm just saying.
So y'all gonna make the old people play 3, 4, and 5 on the middle on the second team?
Mhm.
That's what you're gonna do is make the old people play the 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. Good luck.
Okay,
It'll definitely be a story.
all right. Last but not least, because you guys asked and I got you. I didn't forget. It happened like when I hit the button for the show intro to start. I saw it say breaking, and I had it over here saved. I tell you, I want to let you know it was saved on my tab this entire show. We even almost started the show late. I was not together because I was saving it. This broke when the show intro broke this evening.
I'm so sorry.
The Los Angeles Clippers are trading James Harden to the Cleveland Cavaliers for Darius Garland and a second round pick. Yo, that's it. That's what the trade is, guys. So Jerry Jackson Jr. and the other 7 players in that deal with the 57 picks thrown in, that deal happened. And this deal involved 1-for-1 in a second rounder. Essentially the same format that followed the Vucevic Simons trade. And we see James Harden go to another team. Uh, it's up to y'all, whoever wants to go. Just want to get your thoughts on the trade first, and then secondly, the second part of this is, here's a new backcourt mate. We doing it again. We got Spider and Harden. So y'all have at it.
James Harden is I don't know what he is. I don't know. He has to have dirt on everybody in the entire league because I feel like he just wakes up and be like, I want to play for a new team today. Like, how many times are we going to let this man get away with this? How many amazing backcourt mates, teammates has he had? How many different places has he decided he wanted to go play with this person, and this person, and he still ain't won a goddamn thing. A goddamn thing. And what's crazy to me is when you first put the picture and said breaking news, I feel like he's going to break the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, I understand Darius Garland has the worst toe in the world because I don't know why he can't play with this daggone toe for whatever reason. I don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like, ugh. And I mean, like, I don't, and to be fair, I feel like I sound very biased right now, but of course, James Harden is a great player. Anybody who wins MVP, who has the most, all that stuff is a great player. it can't be everybody else. Like it can't be everybody else. But again, I don't make the big bucks. I don't own no teams. I don't make no trades. It ain't my not my pig, not my farm. You know, I don't care in that aspect. But I'm like, I feel like Cleveland had that year where I can't remember who the coach was before they fired him. Then they hired this new coach, and it was like last year, lights on. Everybody was ready to go. Granted, they fizzled out in the playoffs. You know what happened. I don't know. I feel like, and I hate to say this, and I don't mean this like in a personal way or anything like that. Like, James Harden, if you ever hear this, I don't want no smoke, bro. But I just feel like he's like a dark cloud, just like eating up, like in Marvel movies, it's like that one thing that's like eating up planets, and he's just eating every team that I don't like it. I don't like it. Now, I like it for myself just because I really do think he's going to break the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that just takes another team out of the way. But he does it again. He has something. I don't know what it is, and I don't like it. I saw this, and like you said, you had at the beginning of the show. I didn't see it at the beginning of the show, and it wasn't until I looked at my phone and I was like, because I heard the rumors about it, but I was like, okay, we'll see. He magically wasn't at the game last night when they played. The Clippers played. I can't remember who they played, but I was watching it and they was getting blown out. The Sixers. And it was just magically he was gone. And Kawhi already had an interview. It was like, I didn't know. Like, I don't have any more words. I'm sorry.
Ray, do you have words for this final question of rapid fire for the evening?
If you're still trading for James Harden, you deserve what you get. How many times we got to see this unfold before? So good luck and God bless.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Yeah. I don't know what's up with the Clippers. That's the decision. Like they landed here by their own doing. You know, I'm sure it'll be studied in future years. Everything's gonna go back to that moment that they decided to trade you know who, and everything went left. I look forward to seeing how history looks at them in like 10 years when the butterfly effect literally started after you traded after you drafted and then traded young number 2 over there before the guy wearing number 2 now is wearing it. But you know, Doc Rivers was the coach back then. A lot of interesting decisions were made after that, and we're here for Cleveland. I don't know what you think you did. I'm sure there'll be some positive to it. But just know this just makes me like what the Celtics did that much more. So, you know, we'll see how things work for them. Like, I'm sure there's like, to me, it's kind of like I feel like with on a less, like, not the same, but a similar vein to, you know, like the Trae Young thing. Like, there's positives that those guys bring, but like the overall thing is, I can't get past the, you know, the scale slided one way for me. But, you know, like you guys said, those people made the decisions. That's what they chose to do. They got Darius out of there. James is bigger than Darius, so I guess that's a positive. But that backcourt still shan't be playing any defense. So that's including the guy who remained there. Looking at him too. They just don't do it. But you know, Evan Mobley's gonna get a couple more fire lobs a game, so I guess that's worth it, Cleveland. Shout out to y'all. You know, threes will be falling at a high rate at times. Step back threes for everybody here and there. But you know how it goes. We see y'all when you get jettisoned for the playoffs. But a fun time. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all next week, same time as always. Y'all have a good night.